Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Rise and Slay Morning Show. My name is Rochelle Slay Queen Hemingway, CEO and founder of Slay to Success. I advise and empower women professionals, especially women veterans, to step up into their most authentic personal brand to attract and gain lucrative opportunities. And we are focusing specifically on four areas: appearance, behaviors, communication skills, and our digital presence. Because once we master these areas, we can get anything that we desire and, of course, we deserve. Okay, so as you come on in, let me know where you're streaming in from. Okay, all right, y'all. And listen, the queens are in the building today. R5 Hauling and Junk Removal, which is AKA Audra Russell. Thank you so much for being here. You said you watching while you're unloading metal at the scrap yard and then head to the landfill. Listen, she is working today, y'all, and that's what we do. We get into what we do best, and we can also listen in and get inspired, motivated, and empowered at the same time. Okay, now I know I'm going to pronounce your name wrong, but I am going to try my best to pronounce it right, Queen. Okay, Dianaba, Deanne, Deanne. I probably got it all wrong, but Queen, I recognize you. Your presence is so great to be here. Thank you so much for streaming in live with us this morning and joining the conversation. So, if you have the phonetics on how to pronounce your name, please put it into the chat so that way I can do that properly. Because I always like to recognize people and what that real pronunciation is so I can get it right every single time. Okay. So thank you so much for being here this morning, y'all. We are going to have this conversation. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm on one today. Okay. I got my workout in, and of course, it was very challenging, but I was able to get a high intensity, it's a Tabata type spin bike on my Peloton. And then I did some weight training. Then I was on the treadmill. I was doing the most this morning. And as I was going in through that, I was like, okay, I'm always thinking about how I can show up in the best and favorite version of myself. And so I'm like, we are slaying it this morning. Okay, Queen? And slay means to kill it, to dominate it, to nail it, to be on point, to impress greatly, to dream big and work hard until you own it. It is also an acronym that stands for Universal Life and Leadership Philosophies that really resonate with me, and hopefully they resonate with you too. And that is stay ready to be ready, lead out loud, a sense of community or sense of family, and knowing you are built to last. So thank you so much, y'all, for being here this morning. And as you come in and as you're listening in, let us know where you're streaming in from, because it's important to know that I'm international. Okay, I'm just going to say that out loud. I'm international. We've had folks that have streamed in from different parts of the country, in parts of the world that I didn't never know that they even existed. And I was like, you know what? This is awesome to be on these platforms and to share some of the things that I have learned over time. And so on this particular show, because I have two shows, I have one on Sunday night, which I'm taking a little bit of hiatus on because I got a lot of catching up to do, which is on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then I have this show where we specifically talk about personal branding. That is all we talking about in here, because I believe that when we can control our narratives and really focus in on how we're showing up, which is about the image, because I am a certified image consultant. I'm a personal brand expert, a professional keynote speaker. I'm author of several books. I have these shows, as well as being a proud United States Air Force veteran of 30 years. So I'm taking all of what I have, expertise, experiences, skill set, and I am really counting on me as I am the CEO of Slate to Success. All right. And so I want to be able to help and support more women in the same way where I have seen success for both from my military career and now as an entrepreneur, and just allow you to really kind of see how you can either move the needle, move forward, whether or not you're transitioning from one career to the next, whether you're transitioning to next chapter, or you're becoming an aspiring entrepreneur or an entrepreneur, or you could be an entrepreneur right now and you're just like, you know what? I just need an extra tool. This is where you come to find out some more insights on how you can elevate your brand. Good morning, Queen. How you doing, fam? Ernestine is in the building. Thank you so much for being here with us live this morning in this discussion. We're going to be talking about this personal branding. And what the topic of conversation is today is, do you stand 10 toes down on your personal brand? 10 toes down. Now, I know we're getting to the point right now where there's a lot going on in the world. And we really have to figure out, how do we stand firm in our identity when the world is telling us every day to just go ahead and shrink and play it small. Okay. So I'm going to be talking about a time in my military career when I wasn't 10 toes down, and kind of seeing how that can help us to, think about where we're at in our particular personal or professional life. Now, in this next chapter, I'm not just showing up. Okay. If anybody has seen me in person, the same energy that I'm giving you right now is the same energy that we in person. I am shutting it down every single time. Okay. I'm not going through the motions. I'm not, just sitting back and letting things happen. All right. I am showing up 10 toes down on my personal brand, because I know who I am. I know what I want, and I know how to do what I need to do to get there. I'm being very intentional in this next chapter. Again, I spent 30 years in the Air Force, and now I see myself as not even just trying to catch up. I'm trying to, make up for this lost time that I was not out here in the civilian world, and finding out more about myself and what it means to really step into who I am. So let's just talk about this, okay? Now, excellence is not an option, okay? What do I mean? It's not optional. All right. That's what I'm trying to say. Excellence is not optional. It is a necessity. All right. When we're showing up and we're trying to really figure out who our personal brand, and again, we're talking about appearance, behaviors, communication skills, and our digital presence. All right. We're going to be checking in on our confidence level, on our consistency, and our core, because we don't want to just be in the room. Okay. We don't want to just be in the room. We want to be able to own the room. The air that is in the room, we own that. Okay. All of what I'm talking about is really about being solid. Solid as a rock. I know I'm dating myself, but that actually came into my head when I said the word solid. So let me just tell you about a time, in my military career, and I'm going to take it to the beginning. So my very first base that I was assigned to was a place called Malmstrom Air Force Base in the city of Great Falls, Montana. Again, I was naive. I grew up in Indiana, per se. I was there for like 5 years before I enlisted into the Air Force, because my dad was in the Air Force and we traveled all around. And that's where he ended up retiring. So I went to high school, and then I went 1 year of college and enlisted into the Air Force. I went to basic training in San Antonio, Texas. Then I went to clinical training in Offutt Air Force Base in Nebraska. And then I got assigned to my next duty station, which was Malmstrom Air Force Base in the city of Great Falls, Montana. I had to go to the map, find out where exactly Montana was, because I didn't know. And when I did, I was like, okay, now I know where that's at. Okay. Yes, that's what the sleighs is. This is what we've got. That's right. Okay. So listen, I get there, right? And it was nothing but a big party for me. I was out of my dad's house because he kind of ruled, and had all these different ways that we had to live in our household. And I was like, oh, I'm out of the house. Okay. So I was partying, and I was lottie-dottie having a party. Okay. Lottie-dottie. And so for the first 10 years of my career, I was just seeing, the world. I was stationed there. Then I went to Korea, and I spent a year there. Then I went to Turkey. In fact, Incirlik Air Base in Turkey, and I was there for 15 months. I think that was the tour length there. Then I went to Germany. So, it was a lot of partying. Okay. I was just getting by in the military. I wasn't following all the rules, if you will. In fact, I was very rebellious. Somebody would tell me to do something, and of course, you gotta, kind of do it. But then I would be doing a lot of back talking. Um, I'd be rolling my eyes, shaking my head, asking, why are you talking to me about all this? All right. I just want to try to get to my party and to my friends and my social life and all this other stuff that I got going on. I'll report to duty. Okay. And report to duty was like 7 or 7:30. I'll do my job. But really what I'm doing is planning out what I'm going to do afterwards. And that was the priority. All right. Until we got stationed at well, I got stationed there in Japan. Me and my husband, we met each other when we were in Japan. But I had a mentor. Okay, her name is retired. She's a retired Chief Master Sergeant Emily Hunt Brown. Looked like me and was no nonsense. And she took me in and she said, you're going to have to start being all in. All right. Not all this shifting, going here, there, everywhere, flinting around. All right. We are developing you as a leader in the United States Air Force. So we need for you to start taking these things seriously. You're going to go from supervising 2 people over here to now 40 people over here overnight. At the time, they had someone that was in charge of the 40 people, and they removed that individual because they were not living up to what they were supposed to be doing as a leader. And she put me in as the flight chief of 40 individuals. I had to go from lottie-dottie, having a party, to being all in and having 10 toes down on the values, on the policies, on the standards, the Air Force instructions. I had to make sure that I was the example. All right. And I had to find out what that looked like for me. And that took time. So the next 10 years or so was me trying to figure out what my personal brand was. Okay. Who I am at my core. How do I talk? And how was it natural for me to talk? Okay. And instead of using other people's words, how did I show up in the different rooms that I was being placed in at the time? Having a situational awareness, having a high emotional intelligence, speaking at a high level, right? And then what was I looking like when I was la-di-da-di having a party? La-di-da-di having a party was different than what I was doing previously. Yes, I was still going out and having a great time, but I was very mindful, okay, of what was happening because I didn't want any of the airmen that I was leading to see that you needed to go all the way over here because you go all the way over here and you're facing an Article 15 or a court martial. That's what happens when you're in the military. There are some absolutely no-goes. Okay. You were continuing this time. Oh yeah, yeah. Yes. I love, some oldies but goodies. So standing 10 toes down, for those that don't know this phrase or haven't heard of this phrase before, it's really about you being solid. There's no tiptoeing around, there's no backpedaling, there's no flipping your script. Okay. It's not, figuring out like who's in here and yes, you have to be mindful, but then you're showing up in your most authentic way. And it's because you're deeply rooted in who you are and what you represent, no matter what the pressure. no matter what the noise is. We got a lot of noise going on in these social media streets. Okay. You can get caught up. Now, if you're an entrepreneur like myself, this personal branding, this tool that we're using is a must. Okay. If you're hiding behind your business and having the business in front and you in the back, it's not going to work out the way that you would like it for it to work out. People want connection. They want the know, like, trust. They want to know who they're giving their monies to and how are they going to help them. Okay, so we have to make sure that, we decide at some point that we are all in on our personal brand. Because when I started to be all in, when I was in the military, I was standing in that uniform. I was making sure that uniform was looking just right. Okay. Um, and I had to make the decision that I would show up at the highest level day in and day out. And once I decided to do that and start to really elevate, it was like, yes, queen, you found the secret sauce. All right. And you're going to dip in this sauce every single time. So let's be all about this business. And that's how I got to the end, what my goal was. Okay. Because not everybody's goal is the same. My goal, my husband's goal. And so my husband, I'll speak just a little bit about that. He's retired Chief Master Sergeant, Dr. Dominique Hemingway. Me and him and I, okay, if you want to use the correct terminology, English, if you will, we both did 30 years in our own right. That was our goal. Okay. So we had to rely on ourselves. Yes, we did pillow talk and we were talking about all the things that was going on, but we were making decisions in our own right. He was maintenance squadron, I was medical squadron. All right. So we didn't like cross paths or anything like that when it came to decisions, but we had to understand this, y'all. All right. Day in, day out. It was really about the integrity in our soul. Okay. We made a vow to serve with distinction, not just by orders, but by the character. Yes. JW in the house. What's going on? What's happening? Yes, we are the currency. If we start to really think about it a lot deeper than just showing up and just being in the midst of wherever we're at, we understand we are the money makers. All right. And people want to know who you are and what you do. And you have to have the right level of character. And so when I started to say that I was all in the military, okay, like I was going to, talk about it, be about it, and do the work that was required for me to sustain to get to the 30-year mark. That was my 10 toes down moment. Okay. That was like, okay, I got this. Um, I'm standing firm. I'm standing solid. Yes, was it hard and difficult and somewhat painful? Yes. Okay. But I got what I put in the work for what I wanted to do, and that's what the decision was for me. Good morning, Chevy. How you doing, Queen? What's happening? What's going on? I'm all into this conversation right now, okay, about having 10 toes down on our personal brand. Okay. So we're not wavering. So that same energy that I had when I was in military service to get me to that point is the same conviction, is exactly what I'm doing, what we need to do when it comes to our personal brand. Now, this is where things get a little bit shaky. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, how folks can go astray when it comes to their personal brand, because I have seen it. Some, they be talking and doing one way and then be in your face, if you will, another way. And I was like, what are we doing here? Okay. Like, you confusing me. You're confusing a whole bunch of people. I don't even know what you really stand for anymore. Right. And a lot of people say they want success. Okay. Talking, talking, talking. There's a whole lot of talking going on. Believe me, I'm in a lot of different places, y'all. Just I can't even keep up. So sometimes I can't even post about where I'm at and what I'm doing because it's a lot. Okay. But a lot of people say they want success, they want visibility, they want leadership, but they're tiptoeing around, okay, in rooms, in spaces, and networking events, conferences, symposiums, wherever, hoping, okay, hoping that they're going to be liked, okay, because they're really struggling with, they're they're struggling to be fully seen. They're afraid. People have told me, I'm in the back. Okay. I don't go in the front. So they're struggling to be seen. They're waiting for permission instead of owning their position. And they're unsure how to translate who they are into how they show up. Okay. There is no mistake about what I am doing. There is nothing that I'm doing right now that I have questioned, like, you know what, you should really stop doing that. I'm like, no, we amp it up. We amp it up. Visibility for me is about not only the appearance, but platforms. Which platforms am I getting into? All right. And that could be either creating my own or being on somebody else's, but it has to be in alignment with where my goals and what my vision is. I'm just no random. Okay. I don't just drop in these places and be like, I'm here. No, I'm looking and I'm asking a lot of questions, not only for myself, right? But my time is of value. I'm not trying to be out where I am not appreciated and that I'm just being tolerated. Been there, done that. Okay. So in this next chapter, I'm really banking on how I am putting myself out here and what exactly am I doing. That's me. Stay out of my head. That's right. Which part is it? Which one am I in your head about? Is it afraid to be fully seen, waiting for permission instead of owning your position, or unsure how to translate who you are into how you show up? Okay, because I just want to know. Inquiring minds want to know, JW. Okay. Um, so we can't lead from comfort zone. I know you heard this many times before, but sometimes it's worth repeating over and over again. We got to get out of the comfort zone. The comfort zone is a dangerous zone, okay? And you can't build a magnetic personal brand if you're shape shifting every time the wind is blowing. All right. So, what happens when you build a strong, memorable personal brand? First of all, people remember you. All right. You're top of mind, right? They are connecting how you show up to an opportunity that they have. And they're like, you know what? I know who could do that. I know the best person for that. Right. And if people are continue coming to you and saying, hey, we want to bring you in here, we want to bring you in there. Let me tell you right now, my LinkedIn Messenger is popping. I'm on LinkedIn every day because that's where I get the most opportunities from. And when I say I'm in LinkedIn every day, I'm posting thought leadership about personal branding, networking. I'm on podcasts, different people that I have meeting and allowing people into my world. And I can go into my LinkedIn almost daily and someone's either connecting me to somebody, which I say thank you so much for connecting me with the right individuals, the right organizations. Asking, hey, how can I bring you in as a speaker? What else do I get in there, y'all? Notes on, hey, thank you so much for, speaking to me about my personal brand and how I can, take it to the next level. There's a lot going on and I am excited. I get up every morning and go, you know what? This is the best chapter yet. This is the best chapter yet. Don't you want to have that same type of feeling too, right? All of it. Like you just keep punching me. I don't mean to punch you, okay? Figuratively, all right? But I think that we need to recognize who we are. Now, I don't be, getting too crazy with my vocabulary, but we just need to know who we are and go with that and tweak and adjust and look at how you can enhance your personal brand. Maybe you need some self-development, maybe you need some self-encouragement, whatever that is. We just need to be taking a hold of it and taking ownership. Thank you, Queen. Listen, that is what I wanted to do in this next. Like, seriously. When I was crying in my closet, y'all, and I was like, I don't know what this next chapter is going to be for me. And I'm walking around aimlessly in the neighborhood. I know the neighbors are like, what is happening with her? What is and I would drive around in the DMV, and y'all know traffic out here is just absolutely crazy. And I was just like, what am I doing here? What is my next? How can I do something different? And I definitely wanted to impact more people, okay, with what I have learned and my journey, as well as to be a positive influence in this world. Those are my goals that I wake up every single day and I'm like, what are the actions? What are the steps that I need to take every single day to do that? And I don't have a end goal. This is a path. Slay to Success is a vehicle. It is my way to keep me on the straight and narrow with the values that I absolutely love, and there are non negotiables, as well as having the flexibility and the freedom to kind of fill out this new world. Hey, Maritza, good morning to you, Queen. And thank you so much for dropping in and being here live with us this morning. We're talking about standing 10 toes down on our personal brand. Okay. And I'm just, ramping it up. I got my notes down here. So I'm just trying to get us through this conversation. But if you got anything to add, please do in the chat, y'all. Thank you so much for just being here and stepping in here in this space. So we have to choose our position. We have to know, are we all in? Not halfway, not three quarters of the way. Are we all in? Not when it's convenient, okay? And not when the lights are on. Are you all in on your personal brand? All right. And then when I talk about personal brand, again, we're talking about our appearance, behaviors, communication skills, and our digital presence. Okay. We got to decide to own our own narrative. We got to walk in our own power and we got to show up on purpose. Now, when I show up now, I don't just show up, I show up to shut it down. Okay. So I went to an event, what was it, Friday. Olivia Nunn, who is a retired lieutenant colonel, she is a CEO of Veterans Resource Group, and she had, this mega veteran extravaganza. I'll say that. It was a lot of vendors, there were speakers. I was selected to present a workshop on personal branding, and I walked in there with one outfit on. And it was like unloading the car because I had a resource table and everything put up. So I'm not going to wear the outfit that I'm actually going to present in because I'm moving, a bunch of stuff around and I didn't want to get anything messed up. All right. So I walk in there and I'm putting things away. Of course, I was in pink because pink is the color. All right. And, a lot of people were like, oh my goodness, that is such a nice outfit. And I was like, thank you. And in my head, I was like, just wait till you see what I got going on when I go in this bathroom and change. And so when I changed and put on the suit, the one suit right now, that is just like, wow. And I walked into the space, people were just like, what's happening in here? And for me, I was like, this is how I own my power through my wardrobe. All right. My wardrobe is a whole message, it is a whole vibe. All right. You understand and know it if you stick around long enough and you kind of see there is a theme going on. There's a lot of similarities in between the outfits that I'm wearing, but it's all in the vein of saying the same thing. Okay. So I was in the Air Force for 30 years. I carry around a lot of masculine energy. And so I wanted to make sure my outfits were more compassionate, were more empathetic, allowed me to have more conversations because my outfits are conversation starters. All right. People always want to know, where I go shopping at, where I got my shoes. I have a signature pair of shoes that I wear all the time. Okay. Because this is what I've created for myself. Now, everyone has an opportunity to create their own personal brand style. So, as I have developed the wardrobe, it had my language and what I knew that was most authentic to me. I'm drawing it out even more. All right. I communicate in different modalities and in my online presence, especially on LinkedIn, because I'm the type of person who likes to focus in on one particular platform and do it really, really, really well. So that way, when I move to the other platforms, then we'll see the shift in that and y'all can follow the journey. And I appreciate y'all following the journey on that. But we have to make sure that every room, every meeting, every moment is a deciding factor on whether or not you're going to own your narrative, that walking in that power and showing up on purpose. Because our personal brand is not just a label, it is a lifestyle. It is a lifestyle. Okay. And when you lock in, the right rooms open up, the right people are leaning in, and the world starts responding to the real you. Okay. So 10 toes down. All right. If you are here and you are like, you know what, this is bringing me to the next level of thinking, my mindset is shifting, go ahead and put down 10 toes down in the chat. Okay. Because that's what we're doing. We got to be firm and solid and so convicted in our personal brand that nothing or anybody is going to mess it up. Okay, we know who we are, we know what we need to do, and we know what we're trying to get. So, this has been the Rise and Slay Morning Show. Again, I went over just a little bit over the halfway. Well, I always try to get to this a 30-minute mark, all right, because we got a lot going on in these streets, all right? And so I want you to get after it. And I want you to start really thinking about how you can commit to being all in on your personal brand. Okay, let's not tiptoe. We're not trying to flip the script and we're not trying to, hide behind the scenes. We're going to put ourselves out in front. We're going to get out of our comfort zones. We're going to do things on purpose. All right. We have the impact and the influence that we're trying to make in this world. And we want to do it in such a way where we're making a lot of noise. In fact, we're making so much noise, we don't even hear the other stuff that's going on around us. All right, because we are so focused, laser focused on what we have been called to do. And everybody's got a calling on their life. And whatever that calling is, whether or not it came out from pain, all right, and now you're in your purpose, we have to stay in it. And I believe in me, things that you're trying to get, wherever you're trying to go, they will start coming to you where you're not chasing things down. I don't believe in chasing anything down, especially now in this next chapter, because it's a whole nother way of living. Okay. So yes, JW said, he said 10 toes down. Let's go. Okay. That's what we're doing. So thank you so much, y'all, for being here. We had R5 hauling and junk removal. We had Dianaba, DNJ. I'm going to get it right, Queen. All right. You're going to have to do the phonetical spelling for me. So I do. We had Ernestine in the building. JW in the building. Chevy was here. Maritza was here. So thank you so much for y'all. Because really, you could be anywhere else. And share this with people that you know that need a little dose of Slay to Success. Okay. And making sure that they understand that they can go out and kill it, dominate it, and nail it to be on point. impressed greatly, and they can start to dream bigger and bigger each and every day. And they need to understand that they got to stay ready to be ready. Lead out loud, a sense of community mindset, and you are built to last. Because when all of this is this positive affirmation, it's a positive energy. Believe in me, all the things that we want, that we desire, and that we deserve will come to us. Okay. All right. So I will see you all next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will not be on the Slay to Success Talk Show this weekend because I'm taking another rest day. And the family is going to Ocean City for Memorial Day weekend. All right. So I hope that you all have a safe holiday. Okay. And we will see you back. Hey, Renee. Yes. So Renee is from Georgia. She is tuning in. Thank you so much, Queen, for stopping in live. We're getting ready to just call it a day. I'm already like at the end of the conversation, but thank you so much. And you can go back. Anyone who goes back for the replay, just put in hashtag replay. Let me know your thoughts. And again, I'm gonna say this like I'm gonna need everybody to be 10 toes down on their personal brand. Okay. So keep on slaying until you can't slay no more. Love you all. Bye bye.